The Jet Black Hedgehog, Chapter 2. Shadow gets headaches, and only just now does he see the space organism his body's based on behind the soldier. What took him so long, and since when does he know Black Doom was what he was created from? I'm also not sure why Maria would pass out right away, when not everyone does. Why did he stop having his hand on Maria when that would mean no longer applying pressure to the wound to make it stop bleeding? He comes to the conclusion that the soldier had to be manipulated into shooting Maria, as if all of the other soldiers didn't make it obvious that she would have been shot anyways. Why would Black Doom want Maria to be killed? His goal is to have his species eat everybody on Earth. He's not sending aliens to eat her right now. And he left Gerald after Shadow was made so he could come back in 50 years to invade the Earth specifically. Why would he be back so soon just to do this? It really made no sense to begin with that he didn't just plan to invade the Earth right away. But if he's planning to do so right now in this other universe, why doesn't he brainwash Shadow to be on his side right now? It sure is convenient for Shadow that the soldier doesn't shoot him right away while he's talking, so that he can get the chance to beat up that soldier and all of the other ones. Eventually, Maria manages to say he's looking grim again. He wants to take her to sickbay and is walking ahead without carrying her for literally no reason, just so that she'd be able to put him in the escape pod. So this plot progression's forced. He would have just picked her up right away and started heading for the sickbay while saying this. The change doesn't work. The announcement says there's 10 seconds to the launch of the pod, which is also stupid, because there's no way she could say this whole speech in 10 seconds. If she did talk really fast despite her condition, he would not be able to understand what she's saying. It's great what she's saying here, giving him good advice. But then she goes on to say the speech from SA2 anyways that he would not be able to understand at all. She'd just say be a hero. She also gets to thank him for being born and say she loves him in a platonic way, and launches him away. How are we supposed to take this goofy panel of him seriously where we can't see his eyes and his mouth is open so big? This is worse than any of the art in RG and Fleetway. I don't understand this art style, it completely clashes with the tone. Also, the scene gets you so invested in the sheer emotion of it that once again it keeps you from asking why he doesn't just warp out of the pod right away. Good thing it was never shown that it could warp before this then. But how the hell did he know he could warp later if he didn't find out about it from Gerald and didn't know about it from birth? He was told he could use a spin dash by Gerald, but he didn't tell him he had a power that'd be really useful to him and everyone on the Ark. He would just ask him to warp to places and bring him stuff. He would have asked him to warp to the remote control and give it to him. Why would Gerald know he could use a spin dash? Why would Shadow find out he could use a spin dash? I end up seeing Shadow falling without even being in a pod. Then how is he not injured when he sits back up? What was that flash about? The only flash of Letta associated with Shadow is his warping and time freezing power. He was put in an escape pod that was designed so that you'd survive if it hit the Earth. Eventually there's this weird alien thing that wouldn't be here and he rams into it. He's in a bad mood, which is supposed to be why he just demands to be told where he is instead of asking nicely. Why would he care where he is when all he wants to know is how to get back to the Ark? I guess it just assumes the pod warped itself away. The alien calls out Shadow on being rude and takes off, not trying to answer, instead of simply telling him that he doesn't know where he is because he isn't associated with this place. Somehow Shadow thinks that he must know something based on the way he talks. The way he talks is being rude to him because he's oversensitive. What is Shadow on? Eventually he gets told he's in interdimensional white space where time and space lost its meaning. So the Ark is here. Why is Maria just an illusion? The alien says he could bring her back to life, and somehow he thinks he's just joking. Shadow's told that if a broken egg went in here, if it was fixed here, it'd come back out fixed. But how would you fix it? You'd need magic for it. The alien's such a jerk, he again insists that Shadow ask him nicely at a time like this, so he eventually does. I like that he only asked him nicely after smashing a ridiculously huge hole in a wall, so he intimidated him anyways. Most of the wall would have been weak anyways if he could make such a huge hole out of a punch from one small fist. He gets told he has to collect the 3 convenient wishing orbs. How inconvenient they need to get 3 of them, just so there can be a longer plot. And the story pads itself out by having a bunch of redundant dialogue about this when it already was self-explanatory. Shadow has super speed, so he would just run around fast, covering all possible ground and collect all the wishing orbs really fast. Even if he doesn't do it nearly instantly, it would still be as simple as that and be quick. If they didn't introduce a bunch of convoluted bullshit to try to force it to not be that simple. But still, he could do that fast, and he wins every fight with no issue, so fights wouldn't be a big deal either. He says that because he's not sure if he believes him, he's taking him with him, and the story ends. The story is confusing. It leads me to just assume the reason for why Shadow ended up in white space. That didn't happen after the same thing happened to him in the game. He has to talk to this confusing alien demon that's just conveniently here for no reason, who doesn't fit with any sort of Sonic-like art style, to tell him he could get some convenient magic orbs to save Maria. Which I bet is a hope spot, because that'd be gutsy, even though it would give the manga a point to existing. It's already not canon, so why not go wild? The alien is annoying. Now is not the time for him to be annoying after what Shadow just went through. And it looked like it came out of an anime or manga, instead of being a Sonic character.